awareness of the countries and the continent's refugees, the Turquoise Harmony Institute is staging a concert for refugees at the Linder Auditorium in Johannesburg next Friday. To tell us more about the aim of the concert, I'm joined by Kutlwano Masote, conductor, Newzroom National Philharmonic Orchestra, and James French, member of the organising committee, a concert for refugees. Gentlemen, very good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. James, if I could start off with you. Talk to us about the purpose of this concert, when it's happening, and who it seeks to benefit.
So this concert has to do with the Turquoise Harmony Institute, which is an institute that does a lot of good around South Africa. And they approached us. I'm from SAMRA, the Southern African Music Rights Organization, and they approached a number of other good organizations that try to help people around the country in a way to benefit and make people aware of the challenge of being a refugee in the world today. It's a very serious concern, and at the moment with South Africa's challenges, we have to always acknowledge that not every foreigner is a criminal and not every criminal is a foreigner. Right. And we're seeing a lot of tension rise at the moment, and we felt this is an ideal time for us to spread the message of good humanitarian work. And refugees aren't people who come to South Africa because they want to. They are actually kicked out of their homes, often brutally. They flee for their very lives and come to us for amnesty. And so we've partnered with so many good organizations like Amnesty International, the Human Rights Commission, the UNHCR, and there are other organizations like the University of Witwatersrand, who is actually offering us the Linder Auditorium for this event next Friday. All of us believe strongly in the common humanity and the right to share with each other the good rights that we have within South Africa. We are a very free country by the standards of many countries in the world. So they approached us actually in 2019 when we had our first concert for refugees, and it was Sibongile Khumalo and Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and it was such an amazing experience. You could feel the love in the hall. South Africans are fabulous people. We are so positive and so giving. And I remember just at the event, at the end, an unplanned sort of donation happened where Sibongile just got a cheeky look in her eye and looked at Yvonne, and they both went to the audience and stole hats from audience members and handed them around the audience and raised 5,000 rand for the good work of the Turquoise Harmony Institute. And we believe that this is a constant message we have to give and keep giving. And so the concert this Friday is looking extremely exciting. Amongst the artists, we have got Izimsaki, and we've got Tandy and Tuli, and seeing both of them in the same room was just magic.
Well, James, allow me to give Kutlwano an
opportunity
to say a little bit. Now, you're obviously the conductor of the Newzroom National Philharmonic Orchestra. Does it speak to the sound that we can expect on the night of the concert? Absolutely. Or is it a combination of much more?
So orchestras do many things now, you know, and that's part of the beauty of living in a place like this where there are multiple voices, and one of the pleasures of being a conductor is being able to bring them together on the same stage. And just to continue onto what James had already begun about the lineup of artists, they'll be performing their own repertoire. So we've given them that opportunity, and it's amazing that they've all, the artists, got something that's related to this cause. For example, Tandin Tuli will be doing one of her songs called Exiled. PJ Powers will be singing Jabulani, which is an embracing song, and so forth. And we also have a newly commissioned, well, it was performed for the first time 2 years ago, and we recorded it with various artists and an orchestra last year called Homeland, a song by Neil Solomon, who will also be one of the featured artists. So it has all those elements. Don Laka has been commissioned to write a new piece called Moon, We Shall Rise Again, which is also reflecting on some of the more recent hardships that South Africans have gone through, COVID-19, and also the recent floods in KZN. And the TUT choir will be also on stage for that with the orchestra. So there'll be a lot of movement on stage, a lot of artists, some of which we've mentioned, and others.
Are there any foreign artists representing, obviously, the immigration contingent, if you will?
So there is an artist by the name of Benvenu Nsako. He'll be part of the band. Beyond that, I can't think of anyone else. Yes, there'll be a rock steady Dub, who is also a jazz musician. Oh, well, he's done jazz and other genres. In fact, I met him for the first time the other day, and he was telling me about when he first came to South Africa as an undocumented immigrant then, and he started taking music lessons with my father. So I thought that was a very beautiful sort of completion of a cycle of his story, certainly, to be able to share the stage and celebrate, and now that he's firmly South African, to lend his voice to the plight of those that were forcibly displaced like he once was.
Now, James, you indicated, you talked a little bit about some of the challenges that immigrants face. Enlighten us on what some of those challenges are.
Well, I'm not a specialist on the challenges of immigration, but I was quite alarmed to find out that South Africa's got quite a backlog in processing immigrants in South Africa. I believe it's over a decade of people waiting to get through the red tape of being refugees in South Africa. And while this is administrative, we need to be merciful. Obviously, these aren't people who are here to try and commit evil. They're here trying to escape evil, and that is one of the most important things we need to remember.
So what is the message that we are sending out to South Africans? What is the message that we're sending out to immigrants themselves? I mean, how do they access this content, for instance?
We have to accept that as South Africans, we also have been through a torrid past. Our own artists and musicians were exiled. They were refugees from South Africa's evil government at the time, and they were given safe haven by other countries. And we committed as a country in 1994 that we would not be that country again. We need to live up to that commitment. And another big part of this is the fact that all over Africa, we have countries where people are being thrown out for various reasons, from religion to economic to just political disputes. But with a level of violence that is quite concerning. There are also global ones. I mean, everybody's aware of the Ukrainian crisis, and that has had a lot of media. But Africa deserves the same level of attention. And so we want to tell the message to the people of South Africa, but also to the world, that A, South Africa is a humanitarian country, and we're a modern country that believes in a proper and a careful approach to people who are victims and seeking asylum. But we also want to send the message to all South Africans that we need to be patient and we need to have compassion for these people.
Kutlwano, we're fully aware that music is a powerful instrument and has capacity to send out a message. How are we doing it with this concert coming up next week?
So it's, as I mentioned before, in the choice of the repertoire, all embracing the artists themselves are some of the biggest names in the country. And I think what just James was describing is a message of neighborliness. So there's some sing-along songs. There's a specially commissioned song, as mentioned, which is really reflective and puts into perspective what home really is. It speaks of birds singing. If you've ever traveled outside South Africa, one of the things that you notice after a few days is that these birds are different from what I'm used to. So it's all those messagings around neighborliness and about embracing the next person. And music has such an advocacy role to play in times like this in South Africa. So seeing a full orchestra, the diversity, and people that look like me, people that look less like me, all singing in unison, to borrow the phrase from music, but literally also singing in unison the same message of good neighborliness.
Now, James, those of us that are able to attend, where do we get tickets? What does it cost? And for those, obviously, that are unable to, how do they access this concert?
So there are a couple of websites one can go to. It's very simple. refugeeconcert.co.za is actually the website of the concert. But we also have tickets available on web tickets. It's 200 Rand for a ticket for the night. This is also a fundraiser, so people are welcome to contact the Turquoise Harmony Institute directly at info@turquoise.org.za if they wish to donate to the cause and to help Turquoise help refugees in South Africa.
And we'll be streaming it live on the night. But, of course, it's always best, especially after so many months at home, being out there to share in the atmosphere. If the concert 3 years ago is anything to go by, I think we'll have an even better vibe this time.
Well, Kutlwano Masote is conductor, Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra, and James French, member of the organising committee, a concert for refugees. And that's all happening this coming week, something that you can all look forward to.